form our constitution detail. They allow us say what they want to say. In my case, you remember, I made a statement. I was accused of destabilizing, trying to destabilize the government. The Minister of Information and Justice met the Senate in our constitutional meeting and admitted that they lied on me and that they were instructed by the executive marshal, quote unquote, and we were going to make a correction until today they haven't done anything publicly. So, a few days ago, I raised an issue, alleged that there was an issue at LBS, and in return, I was insulted by the Director General. He came on the floor today. So, even today, we were able to amend our agenda. But normally, AOB is the last item on the agenda. But today, because of the importance of it, we were able to amend the agenda to bring that matter up front and discuss it. The Pro Tem in Winston said that the leadership will take the matter of the executive because it's becoming very persistent. Where once you are a member of the legislature or you sit as an opposition legislator and you raise a critical issue, or even opposition, not just legislature, opposition, once you raise an issue, in return of responding to the issue on the substance, based on the merit, you are responding to by insults. And I think it's not good for our society, and it's something that if the Senate doesn't pay attention to it, it's going to come full cycle. Tomorrow it might come to somebody else in the Senate, and then by the time when we try to respond or to do a checkmate, it may be too late.
Do you, the opposition senators, do you have conversations? Do you try to reject yourselves like, what are we doing here? We seem not to, because it helps the government to do well, to do the best if you can really hold them accountable.
You're right, but I think we're lacking that. There are a lot of journalists, and it's sad, but there are a lot of compromises, being made for different reasons. Like I said, other people want sanction and want to get other sanction. Other people, there's something hanging over you, you want to get it out, or you got people in the government, nominees or appointees that you want to protect. So there are different mixtures in the legislature, and because a lot of things in compromise. The Senate.
But there were similar situations in the previous administration. It said that the executive was not strangulating enough.
No, don't forget that the previous administration did not go after people. There was not much. That don't say not go after at all. God Charles said and others, I would say that, but where now there are people in the legislature today that worked in the previous government that may have some issues that you need to. You're afraid to talk because when you talk, you're in trouble. The next day, maybe as a recovery can for you, or NCC or regulator, or somebody will say something. So there are different things in the legislature. To be honest with you, it's frustrating, and it's not because you want to undermine the government, but in our quest to enhance the democratic credentials of our country, these are things we should do. Keep each other feet to the fire. We should raise the issue, we should flag the issues, and the issues should be discussed and then find a logical conclusion. But to the contrary, we don't do that much.
Regionally, before we go regionally, let's go to Bombay. Are you running Bombay County 2029?
So the election is will be October of 2029.
Yeah, but I have the opportunity of talking to you today.
I'm responding, sir. It's October 2029. This is November 2025. The commitment I have now is to deliver to the people of Bombay County. That I'm doing. So today, Bombay have the highest scholarship program in the country. My developmental agenda is unmatched, and without any doubt, I can say that to you. We were able to give 375 students of stipend to return to school. So our program in the county is very huge. We're still doing a lot in the county. And at the appropriate time, we'll determine if we want to recontest.
It seems that there are a whole lot of forces are converging on that county. I've seen the MPA boss always visiting that as well. So is Fatima, Madam Soli from Bombay?
She has ties with the Western region to include Kidman.
So one could now infer that you had to stand up for your Bombay sister.
No. As a matter of fact, they were not even taken into consideration. What was taken into consideration? I'm a person that, look, I've had many new leases in life. I've made mistakes. I've been forgiven. I've earned. I'm a human being. for me, the fact that I think Madam Salih misrepresented her credentials and she spoke in a condescending manner to another female opposition leader, I think it warranted us deny her. Okay, get a benefit of the doubt. You deny Madam Salih, and you didn't give her the opportunity to correct her credential or to apologize where she erred. You have done nothing. Don't forget, the Senate is not just referred to as the Liberian Senate. It's referred to as the House of Elders. So it's our prerogative in the discharge of our constitutional prerogative. It's within the ambience of our prerogative to also give people a second chance or to forgive people.
It is also
don't forget it's not the first time. Don't forget it's not the first time. You remember even when the beginning of the administration, when there was an issue with the public works and the Senate Committee on Public Works, where our chair, former pro tem, came and say, forget. So that's something within the Senate.
Yeah, but you're also required to set standards for the future, so that people cannot willfully lie on our own and say, okay, they will forgive me.
So, Julius, you present the news, you come and deliver your news, and then there's something wrong with the news, and you come in there and say there's a retraction, or we're taking back the error. Should the listener say, no, we agree? The first mistake you made, let's keep it. So there's a room for it. There are options, Julius. There are options. So one of the many options is to either recall the confirmation, deny the person, accept the person. And I think the fact that the Committee on Internal Affairs, led by Senator Johnny Clay, to have accepted my letter as a member of the committee and a ranking member of the Senate, to have accepted that letter, and it was deliberated, and the hearing was rescheduled, and it took place yesterday, for me, it's achievement. And I think it's in the right direction.
Okay.
For of any influence.
Good. Now, the main issue I call you here for, before we go there, let's go international. What have you been up to regionally? You are always. I was surprised that you've been in Liberia for like 5-7 days now. You are always somewhere. ECOWAS always sending you somewhere.
Yeah. It's been
are you the utility man of the ECOWAS Parliament?
So the way the ECOWAS Parliament functions, which I show you, I've seen a lot of reports from you on ECOWAS. The way the Parliament functions, there are committees, standing committees, and first amongst equals in the land, the ranking of committee. But my committee has multiple responsibilities. So, like if you were relating to the Liberian Senate, for example, I'm the chairman on foreign affairs and security. And then internal affairs, which to include peace and reconciliation. So all of those responsibilities in the ECOWAS Parliament is under my committee. So I do parliamentary diplomacy, I do election observation, I do fact-finding mission, I do oversight, So there's a lot of responsibility that committee has. But my first obligation, of course, is to the national parliament, to the Liberian Senate. So yes, I was in Cote d'Ivoire for the election, then I had to run to Abuja to meet the EU delegation. I was scheduled to go to Pakistan, but then I had pressing engagement. I had to cancel that. I was scheduled to leave the country tomorrow for Guinea-Bissau to observe the election, which will be on Sunday in Guinea-Bissau. I had to put my flight up for Friday because on Thursday, as chair of the Hydrocarbon Committee, I will be doing public hearing on the Oranto and Total or PSC production sharing agreement or contract. So we'll be doing a public hearing on this, so I have to put my predecessor tomorrow. I'll be going first. So again, the ECOWAS, I signed up for that. So when you sign up for things, you have to make yourself available. Not necessarily a traded person, but I'm a ranking member of the parliament, come with a lot of experience, and my committee responsibility is immense. So I take my job seriously, both at the Liberian Senate and of course at the regional parliament.
Okay. Now, civil servants. This what did you realize? Was it only about civil servants when you spoke quite strongly about the budget going to the draft budget going to 1.2 billion, and there doesn't seem to be a movement in terms of incrementing pay of people working in government?
So let me start by thanking the executive branch, the Ministry of Finance, the Liberian Revenue Authority, for lending budget. For the first time in our history, our budget hit the 1 billion mark. It's laudable. It's something we must commend the Ministry of Finance and the LRA. I think it's a milestone, but we cannot boast of hitting 1 million mark when we cannot address the bread and butter issue. So for me, in a developing country like this, where there are still people in this country that go to bed hungry. There are still people that cannot afford to send their children to school. So when the president of Liberia addressed the nation during the July 26th celebration and admitted that there were hardships in the country, when he made it that prices of basic commodities are escalating or on the high side, and he constituted a committee. In his words, he's appointing a successful business person, and he gave all of the adjectives and everything before finally announcing his vice president to chair that committee. The committee is to report to the president. So I will speak if they have made a report or not, because there was a presidential committee to report to the president. Maybe they have done, the president and made it public. But when the president comes out and says there's hardship in the country, prices are going up, and then a few months later, you send us a draft budget of $1.2 billion. And as you recall, a few years ago during the Weah administration, salaries were harmonized. So people's salaries were cut.
And it was a major campaign issue.
A major campaign issue. I still remember watching videos where civil servants paraded with pride, all being afraid of the president, and said, "You cut my pay, I will cut your vote." You know? And my quest, Julia, is not necessarily for campaign, but my quest is that the budget is here. Yes, it's a draft budget. Yes, some of the amounts of the 1.2 billion are still in contingency. It's contingent on some actions. For example, we just talked about having a hearing tomorrow for Total Energy, on Thursday, right, for Total Energies and Oranto. If these instruments, for example, are not rectified by the legislature, it costs into the budget. If ArcelorMittal does not sign the new agreement, the budget is reduced automatically by $200 million. You know, so there are other factors where if asset recovery cannot raise $10 billion.
Someone said that you were presented with a legislative coercion billion draft budget, because tying all these concession agreements that we want to use and whatsoever what they should bring in, it is almost like
coercion should be the word. No, I don't think so.
Making you to want to sign those things because
I disagree. That's why I just said to you, as I was speaking, I said to you, it's predicated on our action. So if we have a hearing tomorrow and we agree that, okay, look, Total Energy and Oranto don't warrant having a block in our basin, and we cannot rectify it, then the budget is reduced by those amounts that are included in the budget. If you say ArcelorMittal has not lived up to expectation to give them another 25 years concession, the renewal for concession, then the budget is already less by $200 million. And there are issues. Don't take it for granted. There are issues being raised in the legislature. I mean, you know the story with Antoine, who has been speaking, off the top for his people. So there are issues. Now, take all things constant. Say I'm not a budget expert. I'm not going to go into the dotting the I's and crossing the T's and all of those kind of things. But I'm looking at it now as a face value. So yes, there's a contingent amount in the budget being placed there, but there are also some facts in the budget. For example, you look at the budget, there's a line called now government expenditure. It's new, introduced for the first time. It's over $200 million. All right. So if you just look at that line, for example, that is new and the budget has survived over the years with all that new line being placed in the budget, that money is already enough to address the issue of pre-harmonization. Now, someone said to me, which I thought from funny, and said, why do we address pre-harmonization now if we still have 2027, 2028, 2029 to go back to that? We can fight and reverse it in 2028, which will help us to get re-elected in 2029. So if we are waiting to only restore civil servants' salary for harmonization, to say let's wait for a year before the election because it will help us to get vote, they will not be fair to civil servants. So what I'm saying, there is no time better than now with 1.2 billion projected budget, draft budget before us to address the issue because they are faxing budget. I mean, things have increased. The budget lines of ministries, of agencies, of the legislature, other areas have increased. So, but you know, the trusting in which I know will be one of your questions. Normally, when the Liberian people take the budget, even we had $10 billion budget. If the legislature had $10 million there, the focus will go on that one. So the budget has always been about what's there for the legislature. So my thing is, for the first time, I'm on record to say our salaries are small. I've said that, but I'm seeing now for the first time, it means we should reduce our salary for civil servants to have them restored from pre-harmonization. Let's do it. But if we pass a $1.2 billion budget and don't address the bread and butter issue, then we've done nothing. And I think it will be a disservice. And I can assure you that if that budget is passed at 1.2 billion or even 1 billion mark without returning to pre-harmonization, I will vote against the budget. I may not have all of the votes required, but I will vote against the budget.
Now, is it only civil servants that you're talking about? Are you not including you, the lawmakers, the ministers who's paying?
Well, I'm not particular about members of the legislature, but I'm also particular about our staffers.
Okay.
Now, for example, I'm one of those legislators that always believe that our staff are underpaid, grossly underpaid. I mean, my chief of staff in the office of the senator, if he makes less than $1,000, that position should be almost position of an assistant minister, if not deputy. So I think our staff is grossly underpaid. So those are things we should look at. Now,
and you people are the determinants of the budget. So why are your people underpaid?
Unlike the executive that have one person with executive power, the other two branches of government is based on numbers. You can have the chief justice of the country, he alone cannot rule a case. He could have one person, he could be the only person with dissent, and the others will go on the other side. In the legislature, it's all about numbers. So even one man stood on top of the table and shouted tomorrow morning, and you don't have the numbers. You can't muster the numbers to join you. You've done nothing.
But it is about the welfare of your own staff, so it should not be an issue.
Fully agree with you. Some of us have made a representation. I know of a lot of senators that have made a representation, or maybe the numbers have not reached up to 16, which will constitute a majority. That is why. If
I brought all of the 30 senators here, all of them will say the same thing you say about the staff welfare.
Like I just said to you.
So how come you all can individually say these things?
So like
when you go back to your offices, they all kind of say
so you know, in Nigeria we say pregnancy don't go behind, come in front, right? So I'm saying to you that if these basic things are not addressed in the budget, I will not vote in favor of the budget. So it's I'm giving a caveat. Like if this doesn't happen, they did voting for a budget. Thank God I see a lot of journalists here. I think they were all saying about the civil. I've never been in your studio with this many journalists covering me. So maybe the civil servants send them to cover the news. But you know, I can say to you today. So if you call just found 16. If you found 16 senators that will tell you if we don't return to pre-harmonization or we don't increase the salary of our legislative staffers to include the personal and civil servant, central administration, I will not vote for the budget. Then it's bingo. But I can tell you sitting in your studio today that if we don't address the issue of pre-harmonization, and sometimes we say it's politics. Yes, I'm a politician. I'm not a pastor. If I'm a pastor, I'll be reading from the Bible. Or if I'm a bishop or imam, I'll be reading from the Quran. I'm a politician, so I speak politics. But this politics is about addressing the basic needs of our people, especially when the president himself, I didn't say a minister or representative, the president said he acknowledged the fact that the country is hard, prices of basic commodities are hard, and he constituted a presidential committee to look at, to review prices. And then we hit $1.2 billion. If you leave home and your father's salary is $100, and he got an increase of another $50 in his salary, your lifestyle will change. It should be reflected in your lifestyle. All right? If you leave home, you work at OKFM. I see you on Facebook most of the time with your daughter, your son, going to school, see you at the father, the person. If we're paying you today as Minister of Information, their children expect their lifestyle to change. Either their school will change or they will get a little more clothes than they have now. They eat 4 million at the end of the year. So if you have a budget that has come from 800 million to 1.2 billion, and then the civil servant don't have an impact, I don't think. I listened to the minister of finance.
They said they will do top ups for engineers.
Yeah. So when we begin to do that, then it doesn't sound well for the budget. Because if we bring top up for engineering, which is good, then let's talk about the police. Let's talk about the military. Then let's talk about the nurses. Then let's talk about the teachers. But most interestingly, let's talk about the people who have to strip our offices for us to sit there. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the drivers who have to drive the vehicles to take us to work. What do we do about that? That's why let it be holistic.
Are you rallying your colleagues? Because it is about consensus. It is about numbers. You are an influential person. Are you rallying them around this? Because I can remember there was a time when I think it was Akaras, it was Rufus Liver, something about Rufus Liver or Akaras when they want that civil servant spirit to go up. There was some kind of there was some kind of serious action.
I think he even got suspended or something like that. Really Brian. Yeah. So the Senate is a non-aggression body. In other words, is that most of the things in the Senate we hold consultation. So we hold consultation after tradition, after plenary, we go to our lunchroom. Even if you don't want to eat, we have lunch together, we talk, we joke, we share on a bipartisan basis. So every time we go, I've made that case that, ladies and gentlemen, it will be disservice to us, to our future, if we pass a budget in the tune of 1 billion. Forget about 1.2, even we say 1 billion or 900 million, and we still don't address the bread and butter issue to us, we'll be doing disservice to ourselves. And I can't sit here and tell you I will get the numbers, no, but I can tell you, speaking to senators, and I know of 1 or 2 senators which they have not asked me to mention any, that have agreed with me, and that would be our position.
Before I go to the next issue, let me speak to the president of the Civil Servants Association. He's my online guest on this one. Okay, we have with us Moriba Johnson. Moriba, welcome. We have Senator Snowe here. The other day you held a news conference. He's pushing the issue of incrementing the salary of civil servants. Where do you people stand?
Well, first of all, we appreciate the call and we appreciate the efforts on the part of the senator. Julius, the issue about civil servants has become a sad scenario in our country. People use civil servants as political pawns when they want state power. And so we have to guide ourselves, especially as civil servants, we have to guide ourselves against those anomalies that are occurring against us. More to that, prior to President Joseph Boakai's election as president of this country, he invited us in that discussion with him. One of the key issues he put before us in his administration was going to address was the issue of harmonization. He told us when he takes over through our help, the issue of harmonization was going to be a thing of the past. Unfortunately, since the second year going, we have heard nothing about the harmonization yet. Okay, and then aside to that, 1.2 billion dollars. The very first thing in the history of our country, for us to have such budget and nothing absolutely they said about civil service, it's a sad situation. Okay, even before this year, last year the finance minister made us to understand that the 2025 budget was to address 3 sectors: health, education, and security. And that the 2026 budget, of course, will address the generality of civil servants. Unfortunately, we are hearing from him, and this is very keenly. He said this year's budget will only address engineers. What happened to the other professionals? So you want to tell me, the finance minister will be shifting the goalposts. You give excuses for this, you give excuses for this. No one should take us for granted. And I said this in my press briefing sometimes last week. I said, no one should take us for granted. It was not only Nima that brought the Unity Party into power. Civil servants played key roles in the people that they are treating now a dump truck that will set the marshal, and after the marshal is completed, they drop us on the side, the pipe us on the other side. Civil servants should not be taken for granted. And I said it very clearly to journalists that came the other time to the press briefing. We took out government, and we can also take out government and be another one. And so no one should take us for granted in this country. If we have any issue that has to do with the bread and butter, if it cannot be addressed, you take us as political poll. When election time is reaching, then you focus on us. We think those days are gone. Then we have the national cake. The economy the resources belong to every one of us in this country. While we are working and we are poor, we continue year in, year out. It's not only this government alone, but government tax. We've been blind. Civil servant salary should be increased. Civil servant salary should be. Even the current protest now, we remember during administration of President we made them, before we went to the protest day, Senator Amache, he referred also to Senator Yomikanda, and she met with us and we discussed, we put before her our plan, the issue about the low salary and how the civil servants are suffering in this country. I mean, is there a plan to become civil servant? Is there really a plan?
So what do you want other leaders of Capitol Hill to do, especially as Senator Snowe is championing this cause?
We are calling on the rest of the lawmakers, both in the upper and lower houses, to see the need. You have huge population of this country that is languishing in poverty, the working class. We are only asking them and appealing to their conscience to please see the need to elevate, to at least have some time off for public sector workers, for government employees. That's all we are asking here. That's all we are asking. Another issue that is also killing us seriously, Julius, is the personal income tax regime that we find ourselves. It is killing us.
It's high,
It is affecting our disposable income. So that's why every time we're going to the marketplace, we cannot afford, to buy those things, those necessities that will sustain our life, because we are very suffering. And so our people should, when the budget is formulated, we should address every sector of this country.
Okay.
Everything is shifting to food.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, Mr. Johnson. Perhaps in the near future, I'll have to bring you and some of your team members so we can exhaust what your issues are. You just listen to him, sir.
Well, again, I think he spoke strong, but he spoke with a lot of passion as a leader of these people. And Julius, I don't think we should allow this debate to even lead. Even if we say let's begin something across the board. And I think the Minister of Finance, someone who I admire, someone I like a lot, but to come on and say we will do for engineers. Engineers are very important. We love engineers. But let's do for everybody. Let's look at some of the facts, including the facts in the legislature's budget. Cut down on some of the facts. We carry NSA down to 22 million. And I mean, I'm a student of government. I've been in government for long. NSA cannot be audited. So most of the crumbs you get chunky there when it comes back, national security operation, no auditing. So let's look at it. Let's look at holistic. Or a little bit transparent. Take some of that fat part, the EPS, and like I said, a new budget line, general government expenditure, over 200 million. First time in the budget.
You're there?
Yes, I'm sure it to you. Just go there and take out that plan, Julius. I don't know. I'm sure they. But
are you also concerned that the projects, most of the public sector investment projects are tied to the accelerometer, 200 million and other things?
That's why I just said to you that it's contingent on the passage of those instruments.
And this is why Benedict Kolba said it is a legislative coercion too, because if they put the key projects that may affect the counties in that area, then you are almost under pressure to pass the accelerometer, because if you do not pass it, those projects will not happen.
So, yes, they put in the budget 10 million for asset recovery. So, is it, if the legislature passes it, does it mean we're looking for people to find that money by force? And like somebody said, this one I listened to your show, somebody said, criminal cases has its own bureaucracy and time frame. So if we put 10 million and we expect to recover 10 million on asset recovery, and those cases go through litigation and they exceed the budget year, is there a shortfall of 10 million or of course we get money from somewhere else, you can cover that. But so there are things in the budget that we look at. But don't forget, budget is projection. So they are projecting that we can raise this. They're projecting that within this period, we'll be able to sign the ArcelorMittal deal and we have 200 million. So they're making projections. Nothing wrong with projections. And I'm not going to, have any disagreement with those projections. But I also disagree that it's not necessary correction because we could disagree. And if we disagree, and that is why over 200 million is already in contingency. So if the budget is passed, that amount goes into contingency. So even we sign a caveat and say, okay, we hold on to restoring going back to pre-harmonization. And if we can pass on these thresholds, we will go and do it. But it's just not fair. It's not fair. Somebody might say, why Snowe? Forget the messenger, go kill the messenger, just take the message.
Others say you didn't say it during your friend George.
That was you defeated my friend. So if you think I didn't say it, that my friend was flawed. And that is why, like you heard the civil service chairman just now, he said the president now, who was opposition leader, met with them and made a commitment to them that when you elect me, there will be an issue of the past that I will give it to you. So those were some of the things that gave him the votes. So if that chairman who spoke so passionately just now, you think if you went and had one meeting with civil servant or just go in the chat room, maybe they have a chat room, nationwide chat room, go there and say we've been a show by Deacon Boakai that if he wins the election, harmonization will be restored. You know how many will believe me? I show 80%. Off the top of my head, I can say about 80%. So that votes are going straight to them. But again, I don't want to dwell on the election campaign or the action. I just want to dwell on the bread and butter issue.
Okay, finally, arrest agenda contains A. Are you concerned about after the agriculture minister went to the legislature and said we need about 40 million every year to be able to be self-sufficient in food production? They also said it on the show, the entire sector gets $13 million out of the 1.2 billion projected budget.
And if I come here now and start telling all of my disagreement on the budget, you have to extend the time. That's why I decided that let me champion this one. I'm into agriculture. I feel that agriculture is lip service, especially for a president whose background is agriculture, being from LPMC to agriculture ministry. I think we should do more. But again, the Ministry of Agriculture have to show more action than just talk. They should practicalize their actions. So I don't see much about them. I see, for example, we got Liberians here that produce eggs. The agriculture ministry, I think they gave UFC or one, sorry, I'm not being racist or anything, well, foreign company money to produce eggs, to get weed or something like that to get eggs in the Liberian market. When they are Liberians are producing eggs, bringing in the day-old cheese, bringing eggs, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 the Yvonne Dennis, somewhere in Bombshell, then so there are Liberians in the business. So I think the Ministry of Agriculture has to practicalize their action. Again, maybe somebody will champion the agriculture side. What I want to champion in this budget is to put bread and butter on the table. So because when you open your debate too wide, and everybody start looking for loopholes to go into it. It cost me for saying I want civil service salary, and I'm sure it will cost me. But you can go ahead and cost. Okay. My only thing is I've been in the business for long, so the costing part I'm used to it. I'm just saying to you, do not pass $1.2 billion budget without restoring pre-harmonization. They said that man is lying. Even the line, the color general, the chairman, even the line that the competitor didn't call them before the election and say, we are call your money. When you elect me, it will be a business, it will be in the past. It's 2 years now. So let's do it. Let's do it this time. Let the legislature, for this time around, let's be remembered for restoring the dignity to our civil workforce. Let's talk about bread and butter issue. That's the bread and butter issue.
His name is Edwin Snowe, Senator from Bombay County, 777-700. 995-555-995. The numbers to call. I saw Deputy Daniel Snowe trying to call, so we'll see. We get him. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Okay, you went off. Let's see. Daniel, welcome, Deputy Minister.
Good evening, Julius.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Let me say good evening to Senator Edwin Snowe. I'm in position, and I see that the senator who has been fasting and praying for the government to fail has yet again embarked on another spree to kind of incite very decent civil servant against the government. And this is happening.
Incite civil service against the government?
That's what Senator Snowe is doing. If you follow the deliberation, you get to realize that he's trying to incite, because you cannot talk about advocacy to increase civil service salary and you deliberately ignore the step that the government took in the current budget that is being implemented to provide salary top up for civil servants in the security sector, agriculture sector, in the health sector. Did he say that? He wouldn't say it. He wouldn't say it. And those who are saying to him that the government held by his friend, former President Weah, destroy the country, it's not a record to say that, they are right.
So when you all, hold on, sir. When you all were championing the issues of civil servants and harmonization and cutting of their salaries, were you inciting them against the government then?
Yes, we have never attempted to forget the plight of the people. That's why in the current budget year, there are salary top-ups in critical sector. But
was that what was promised? Were they promised that we just take a small band of people and just top them all getting small thing? Was that the campaign promise made to them?
Julius, harmonization was a disaster, and we as a government will undo it, but it cannot be done on a one-shot basis. Here's what I want to say to you. Right? Currently, we could say, for example, the 32 million that we have paid in debt to the central bank, the government that was headed by Senator Snowe, friend, from President Weah, they took 84 million for the central bank to pay salary in the month of
no, but how does that concern the issues of the civil servants when you have a $1.2 billion draft budget at the legislature? No, we don't have enough time. So let's address the key issue.
So in the last budget, this government has to pay 16 billion to the central bank of Nigeria. In this budget that the Snowe is currently discussing, there's a total allotment for 16 million to go in payment of that debt for 84 million that the Israel government borrowed from the central bank. So assuming we're not paying the debt, that the government of President Weah borrowed from the central bank, who would have is
this current government not taking loans that other governments coming will pay for?
Julius, what the CDC government took from the central bank was not a loan, it's what the Canadian account for.
But why are you paying for something that people cannot account for, and you are not holding them accountable?
Well, if being held accountable, you know they are steps taken by the government to hold those people accountable.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, Daniel Snowe. Let's take more calls. Let me talk to the agriculture minister. I think he's calling in. Folks, please don't call this line. Do you have the minister here? Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Julius. I actually shows that I was driving and I just heard Senator Honorable Snowe mentioning that the Ministry of Agriculture is doing nothing but to take money.
There is, sir. I don't know whether you can call directly. There is, you are calling on WhatsApp. Can I call you back on your direct line?
Sure, I can speak directly to you. I can call you directly.
Yeah. So just do that directly, because WhatsApp people will knock you off. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly. Go ahead, sir.
right, especially regarding the economy right now. I'm taking this time and the government pay attention because about the messenger is a need that the people should be properly like your whole known. Somebody may be thinking that it's only 500 now. And you think about what does that do with the economy, everything getting tight, and especially around the world. It should not be about attacking people. It's about the government having good sense and see how everybody.
Okay. Okay, thanks so kindly. There's a whole lot of people. I want to know, folks are leading my line. I want to get the agriculture minister. It's important. His ministry was mentioned. Okay, let me speak with. No, I'm also seeing Deputy Minister Myers from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning calling. So, welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon.
I don't know. You gonna calling directly so the people. But Chico, are you in the country here? Hello?
Hello?
Are you not in the country, sir? Okay. Let me take the agriculture minister. He's calling directly now. Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Julius. Let me say hi up there to Honorable Snowe.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't like to call on this show, but I called to respectfully disagree with the Honorable Senator that we are doing nothing and he says we're taking money and giving it to a foreign company to bring in air. That is not true. When we got in 2024, that company was already fully established and begin production. So we as the government have not given a cent to that company. The UCN that he's talking about, we have not given them a dime to invest. In fact, I think that investment has been helping to reduce our importation of eggs. So I just want to make it clear.
Okay, but is the government doing business of them like buying eggs or whatsoever?
The government is not in the business of buying eggs.
Okay.
There are individuals who buy eggs from them. There are individuals who buy feed from them. There are individual private sector actors who buy checks from them. But the government is not in the business of buying eggs from the entity. Okay,
since I have you on the line, sir, you went to the legislature, spoke about $40 million for. If we really want to be self-sufficient in food production, especially rice, you said it on my show here when I hosted you. How do you feel about your whole sector being projected 13 million plus in the 2026 draft budget?
No, 2026 draft budget, we don't have $13 million. We had $13.34 million in the 2025 budget. But it is true that the draft budget honor an budget for the ministry. What we have is far below what we got for 2025. So we are there.
No, I said the agriculture sector. I know that your sector, the entire sector gets 30 million plus. So what is the case that you made for your sector? You go to cabinet meetings and all of that. Didn't you make a good case?
We made a very brilliant case. We thought our colleague had listened to us, but unfortunately they said there was some challenges during the allocation. But I think we still need more because agriculture, as you know, is providing livelihood for over 70% of our population. And if we can live from agriculture, we think it's not a good thing. We are staying in the conversation. I think we have been assured that something will be done about it. And we are looking up to them. And also, Honorable Snowe is in there. I think they are the one who have the responsibility to make allocations.
Yeah. He said he's also concerned about that, but he doesn't want to broaden his advocacy too much. Others can take that on. He knows that is more for your ministry. But he wants to focus on the civil servants.
He's a good brother and a good friend. I hope he will also be advocating for agriculture. He's a farmer himself.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he would not be advocating for agriculture, but he's a farmer.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Deputy Finance Minister Anthony Myers was trying to get in touch as well. Let me just squeeze in this one. It will be the final. The interest is high, but sorry, folks. Welcome. Let's hear you.
How are you?
I'm fine. Quickly, 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Senator God, thank you. As always, I'm a very big admirer of Mr. Snowe or Senator Snowe, and I'm also calling, and I'm calling as a farmer, probably maybe somebody who also have a bad knowledge or maybe knowledge in the agriculture sector. I just wanted to say straight up that 40 million is not also even enough for the Ministry of Agriculture if we are serious people in agriculture or want to improve agriculture. It's not 40 million. Judah, I know there are some lousy people that will call and just make all kinds of statements when we talk about incitement. Because of time, I will deal with that another time. But let me say to you, Julius, people who President we are highly to be a footballer, and somebody said, if President William could not develop football, then who else? And I say, if Joseph Boakai or President Boakai cannot develop agriculture, maybe I have to be Musa Kone, but I want to be very clear that 40 million is a drop in the ocean, and I have never been friendly with any agriculture minister I lived for the last 7 years, even in my own regime. That's a Mogana promo.
Okay, thanks so kindly, Musa. The time is out. The news is coming up. We'll go back for you. Senator, the interest is high. Trust me, a whole lot of high-profile people have been calling, but sorry, folks. Yeah.
So let me just say to the Minister of Agriculture, I don't think I said he's doing nothing. I think, my fact, like you said, I said I don't want to go into it too much. Yeah, I talk about the egg thing, but then Minister didn't say you're doing nothing, and I think that the amount is small. You need more money, but I don't want to be the champion for that. I don't want to be jack of all trades. I want to focus on the bread and butter issue. So my very genuine brother, Daniel Sando, I tend not to deal with those kind of things because it lacks substance. Emphasizing on Mr. We are my friend. The day we have National Friendship Day, we can talk about it. We're talking about governance. You know, he needs to understand governance. So when you come to governance, you think you can dilute the conversation and say, oh, you're a friend or income. I didn't run the government. Here's my friend. I have absolutely no regret about Joe having my friend. We've been friends for over 40 years. It will always be friends. So that shouldn't dilute the issue. When you talk about incitement, they are the same people that wrote that leaflet against me and lie on me, admitted that they lied on me. They met, just so you know, they met the entire Senate in our consultative meeting, they admitted that they lied on me. But then we got to find a way to make it public. So you come back in with the same tune. How can you ask for increase in the salary of civil servant and you equate it to incitement? You know, but again, Dana is his first time in government. They gaslit with the vehicle, you know, somebody get carried away. So I wouldn't dignify that, but again, let's stick on the issue. The day you have that one holiday called National Friendship Day, then you can talk about my friend. For now, we're not talking about who my friend is.
Will you also talk about your own friends?
Well, I don't know his friends. I mean, I don't hang around in the scene, so I don't know his friends. I didn't know my friend. That's showing how important I know my friend. I don't know his friends. All right, I know his godparents who got him the job, but I don't know his friends. So again,
so you don't have the godparents there?
Yeah, we have that. You don't talk about your godparents. So I'm not going to dignify what Dana is saying. What I'm saying, Julius, is that this is no way trying to incite anybody. I'm just saying to us, and you saw him again. He tried to select people that have certain salary increase. The matter of fact, that will cause confusion. Because if you now say we're increasing this person, that sector, and you leave other people, that turns them to chaos. I'm just saying, let's do it holistically. Okay. Let's restore it. Let's address the bread and butter issue. No incitement. This is a fight about bread and butter. Thank you, Julius.
Thanks so kindly, Senator Edwin Snowe. Tomorrow will be another day on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We are out.